My dad was a migrant farm worker, and so was his father. So, you know, the story of most of the people here was we started out as farming and ranching communities.
I don't bring Washington politics to South Texas. I try to bring South Texas politics to Washington.
In 2012, Hidalgo County, right on the US-Mexico border, voted nearly 70% for Barack Obama. 12 years later, a majority of the county voted for Donald Trump. That shift was not isolated. Across South Texas, majority Hispanic counties along the border followed the same trajectory. Once reliably Democratic, now flipping by significant margins toward Republicans in 2024. Texas Republicans took notice. Governor Greg Abbott and the Texas GOP used that trend to redraw the state's congressional map ahead of the 2026 midterms, netting Republicans as many as 5 seats. In South Texas, 2 Hispanic Democrats, incumbent Congressman Vicente Gonzalez and first-time candidate and internationally known Tejano music star Bobby Pulido, are running to hold the line for Democrats, challenge the GOP strategy, and redefine what political realignment really looks like.
I'm Congressman Vicente Gonzalez. I represent the 34th District of Texas. The easiest way to describe it's where the border meets the coast. I've spent my entire life in South Texas, growing up, going to school, then later practicing law for almost 2 decades before joining Congress, and next year will be 10 years. Bobby, I've known him way before he decided to run for Congress. He used to help me campaign every cycle. We would go to campaign events and he would endorse me, support me. He would go out and knock on doors with me. And he was always the same moderate conservative Democrat that he is now. My wife planted the seed when we were on the campaign trail and said, hey, you ought to really think of running.
I grew up right on the border, pretty close to here. On my mom's side, I'm 8th generation. On my grandmother's family was all here since it was before it was Mexico. They were part of the Spanish land grants, and so they were at one time they were Spaniards, and then they became Mexicans, and then they became Texans. So, and I've been here all my life. My dad was born here. My grandfather, his father, was also born here in Edinburgh, Texas. My dad was a migrant farm worker, and so was his father. So, you know, the story of most of the people here was we started out as farming and ranching communities. So it's very rural.
I always tell people something that I don't know if it's very politically correct, but in South Texas, I always say I represent a lot of brown rednecks. And it's really that way in the sense of they're just really conservative people. They're ranchers, they're farmers.
I think people here have always been blue dogs, even if they don't even know what a blue dog is. But they've always been conservative. If you were to take a poll down here and say, do you consider yourself conservative or liberal? It would probably, and I'm not being hyperbolic, but probably over 80% of the people would consider themselves conservatives. But they're Democrats. They've always been Democrats at their core.
Over the last years, the Republican Party saw opportunity in South Texas and saw that they can get a big bang for their investment. And they doubled down and tripled down. And I didn't see the Democratic Party do the same. And we've definitely paid the price for that.
I might have seen 3 or 4 Kamala signs during that election cycle. 3 or 4. She just did not resonate at all with the people here. We've been getting our lunch eaten with them because for 3 years, President Biden or Kamala did not even come. I mean, that's political negligence. I know lots of family members, and everyone that I know and friends of mine that were Border Patrol, all of them voted Republican. And a lot of them used to vote Democrat. And look, in a walks of life of the people, you don't really see the immigrant issue, but the Border Patrol, they lived it every day. And when they felt like they weren't getting supported or nothing was getting done, they laid blame at Democrats. We don't have to choose between border security and comprehensive immigration reform that works correctly.
I believe the failure of how the border was handled during the Biden administration is what cost us the majority in the House this last election. And I may be one of the few members that'll be honest and tell you just the way I just did. But I was one of the most critical Democrats in the country on how the Biden administration handled the border. Just recently, I think Matt Gaetz said on one of his shows that I'm glad President Biden didn't listen to Vicente Gonzalez on the border, or we wouldn't have won the majority.
I feel super, super confident that we're going to turn a lot of Trump voters my way. I don't care about partisan politics. If it's a good idea and it benefits us in South Texas, I'm be all for it. And when they hear that, they're like, this guy's an independent-minded Democrat that won't just toe the line every time they tell him to do something. I think they like that.
I know it's disappointing to some of my colleagues when they see me take some votes that don't really reflect their districts. And they think, well, we're all Democrats, we should all be voting the same. And I kind of feel the same. We are all Democrats, why aren't you voting like me? Nobody knows their district better than the member themselves. And I can tell you for myself, I'm coming from Texas. The three leaders in our parties are from the three most progressive states in the country, from New York, from California, and from Massachusetts. I can't follow their lead on many votes, and many votes that are popular to them in their districts are really, really unpopular in my district. And many of those votes I don't agree with myself. So I vote my conscience, I vote my ideology, and I vote my district every single time in order to be in the majority. We talk about having a big tent. Well, we got to live it also and vote it also. And having a big tent means having people under your ceiling that you don't necessarily always agree with.
Under the new map, Pulido and Gonzalez face tight races. Texas 15 is an R+7, making it a steep climb for Pulido, while Texas 34, Vicente Gonzalez's district, is rated as a pure toss-up.
The night that Monica de la Cruz won here, I saw that gerrymandered map and I said, I can beat her. I waited like a whole year to make that decision. I was thinking about it. And then she started taking all these votes and just do nothing but parroting Trump talking points. And I said, well, fuck that. I'm going to take her down. I started looking at the numbers and I went, oh, I can win. Statistically, it was the same. Trump won it by the same amount of numbers, but they did not do their research. They actually screwed Monica de la Cruz over because in 2022, in my district, the new district, Rochelle Garza, a very little known candidate for attorney general, lost by less than a point to Ken Paxton in this district. That is a far cry from 18 points. That's like battleground right there. And believe me, I can outperform Rochelle Garza here, especially against Monica de la Cruz. So I liked it because it was 65% of the new map was new territory to her. So she loses her incumbency advantages because they don't know her, but they know me. And my district is 78% Hispanic. And so I didn't hate it for me. I hated it for my party. But even Beto in 2022, in 2018, he killed it in this district. He won it by almost 10 points.
I feel very confident that we are gonna persuade the majority of the voters to support us. And you know, I'm now in 100% new district from when I started. Last redistricting, which we had at the beginning of the decade, the governor tried to gerrymander me out of my district, and they gerrymandered my home and very small portion of the immediate community where I live in, and they took about 70% of the district that I had been representing for 3 terms away, and moved me into 34, and then you know, into about 70%, 75% new district, assuming that we would lose. But once again, our message and our campaigning resonated with people in South Texas, and we were reelected, and we were reelected again this last cycle through a much tougher cycle. And we lost a lot of Democrats. We lost our state senator, we lost our state representative, we lost our entire Court of Appeals, but we were survivors. And I attribute our success to some of the tough positions that I've had to take, and some of the, you know, bucking my own party many times on a lot of issues that I don't agree with.